I'm biased against idiots that call into this radio show that don't know what they're talking about. What an elitist. And what a nothing. She did nothing in the White House. What is it about Melania Trump that people like? Because I got to be completely honest with you, I don't have a lot of respect for her, and I will explain to you why. Now, let me play this clip for you. This is Melania Trump when asked about not being on the front of Vogue magazine playing the victim.
Your business background and your fashion background and your beauty, never on the cover of Vogue. Why the double standard?
They're biased, and they have likes and dislikes, and it's so obvious. And I think American people and everyone see it. It was their decision, and I have much more important things to do, and I did in the White House than being on the cover of Vogue.
Melania, I'm wondering, what are those really important things that you have to do? Changing rugs in the White House or chairs, refurbishing chairs, different chandeliers replacements, toilet replacements? What were those important things you were doing? Building tennis courts? I'm just wondering what she characterized as important. A campaign to stop online bullying when your husband was the bullier in chief? I'm wondering, what did you actually do in the White House? Well, we do have a good understanding of what you did on January 6th, because Melania claims that she was unaware of what was taking place during the January 6th insurrection, which, by the way, is a lie. Of course she knew what was going on for the hours and hours that it went on. She said in an interview on Fox that she was unaware of the ongoing riot because she was too busy, I'm quoting now, photographing a rug in the White House. Folks, these are not my words, okay? For 5 or 6 hours, the insurrection took place, and Melania Trump is telling the American people in an interview she didn't know what was going on, and during that time, the reason why she didn't know what was going on is because she was taking photographs of rugs. Folks, you can't make this stuff up. You can't make it up. Stephanie Grisham, on January 6th, has already said that she asked Melania Trump to call out the violence on social media. Melania Trump refused to do so.
The fact that she didn't say, like, what is going on? Why would we even put that out? Told me she knew what was going on. And the fact that she knew what was going on and just wrote back no was something I couldn't stand for. I had tried to resign a few times between November and January, and she'd always talk me out of it. But that day was just the last straw for me and, several others.
Yeah, and I believe every word she just said. Picture this for a moment. I know it might be hard for you to picture, but let's try to do this anyway. Your husband is the orange turd, Donald Trump. Just picture that for a moment. For hours, just a few 100 yards away, in the House chambers, we have an insurrection. Officers are being beaten. There are images and video of people being taken out on stretchers. A very serious and volatile situation with many of the people that support you and your husband. And maybe she was interrupted while she was taking pictures of rugs in the White House, because that really helps the American people. And she's asked by Grisham, will you please go on social media and denounce what is taking place? The violence, particularly. What do? If you're a decent human being with any moral compass inside of you, you immediately take to Twitter and you do so. And by the way, you should do that without being asked to do it if you're a decent human being. Not only did she not do it, and then she was asked to do it, she said no. That is Melania Trump's legacy, ladies and gentlemen. Melania Trump will always be known as caring more about the rugs in the White House than the American people. Melania Trump will always be known for the tennis courts that she built, because that really helps the American people, Republican or Democrat. If you want to actually talk about the people that were first ladies that actually did some things to help the American people, I'll be glad to do that with you. It wasn't Melania Trump. She did nothing. Barbara Bush included volunteerism and homelessness for many of the issues that she talked about. She promoted literacy as her signature cause, which probably wouldn't work with a lot of the MAGA supporters out there. But Barbara Bush was a woman of class and dignity. She didn't care about building tennis courts in the White House. And I could also guarantee you, if there was an insurrection going on, Barbara Bush would have been the first one to take to social media, if they had it back then, and denounce it. Melania Trump didn't do any of those things. Hillary Rodham Clinton. Now, you could say whatever you want about Hillary if you don't like her policies or you don't like the Clintons, but the bottom line is she did a lot of good work in the White House on behalf of women, on behalf of families, and behalf of the healthcare reform that she helped push. She became the first president's wife elected to the U.S. Senate and served as a Secretary of State for President Barack Obama. A milestone. What has Melania Trump done as a milestone since she's been in this country, let alone the First Lady? And then there's Laura Bush. Again, I didn't always agree with her politics, didn't always agree with her husband's politics, but I could say Laura Bush is a woman of dignity and class. She's a former teacher and librarian, a historian. She worked on education reform and literacy at the top of the ambitious agenda that included the Reading First program of the No Child Left Behind, one of her husband's initiatives, which I agreed with. She visited more than 75 countries and supported other causes, including AIDS relief and breast cancer awareness. How many countries did Melania Trump visit, not on vacation? How many countries did she go to help people? Not many, ladies and gentlemen. Laura Bush went to 45. And then there's Michelle Obama. Again, whether you agree or disagree with her politics or what her husband did or didn't do. She is a Harvard-educated lawyer, and she helped launch the Let's Move campaign to address childhood obesity. She joined forces for service members and the Reach Higher initiative for education, volunteered at soup kitchens and homeless shelters. Do we remember when Melania took that day with that stupid jacket that she was wearing? I don't care, do you? And it made it all about her and had the media scrambling to try to figure out she did that on purpose. Those are a list of first ladies, and some first ladies that I don't even agree with politically, that are classy people, including Jimmy Carter's wife, who sadly lost her life a few days ago, another woman of class. These are classy people that put up with these initiatives to help people, to help children, to help the American people, while we had a January 6th insurrection and Melania Trump was more concerned about taking pictures of rugs. Now, if you want a list of the things that Melania Trump did do, how she spent your taxpayer money, I'm so glad you asked, because I have a list of some of the things that Melania Trump did accomplish, and she's very good at spending money, ladies and gentlemen, things that do not help the American people, that help herself. Kate Anderson Brower, by the way, is a presidential historian. I think she said it best when she said about Melania Trump. I think her own background as a model and in the fashion industry, she was more concerned with her appearance than with opening up the house. Couldn't agree with that statement more. So what did Melania Trump actually do? Well, she redid the iconic Rose Garden. You want to talk about history? She just decided to redo the whole thing and wipe out history. Then there were the tapes that revealed her disdain for Christmas. Do you remember that? The stupid Christmas trees comments that she made? Yeah, what a woman of dignity. Oh, she was a big part of the elevator refurbishment because, you know, when the American people have a long list of things they want the First Lady to do, I'm sure the first thing on their mind is, let's refurbish those White House elevators that 99.9% of people in this country will never see. That cost the American taxpayer $100,000, by the way, much more than an average yearly salary of an American. Oh, yeah, antique chairs. Yes, that's right. She bought an antique chair on taxpayer dollar. Cost us $85,000. How about the diplomatic reception room rug she was responsible for? That cost the American taxpayer $200,000. $200,000. About 30 wooden doors were professionally refinished at the hands of Melania Trump. That cost the American taxpayer $90,000. A red room fabric replacement cost an American taxpayer $300,000. It gets worse. How about the upholstery of one of the suites in the White House? That was refurbished. Cost the American taxpayer just under $1 million. Melania Trump is not a hero. She did nothing to help the American people. She's only done things to help out herself. But Brian, wait a second. Remember she took the cyberbullying very seriously and she put forth an initiative? Yeah. Meanwhile, her husband was the bullier in chief on social media. So that means absolutely nothing to me. Nothing. Absolutely zero. Did she ever hold a press conference and say, yeah, I don't support what my husband does on social media? If she did that, then I would have some respect for her. Don't put out this initiative about social media bullying when your husband, and still does it to this day, and we all know why Melania Trump is still married to Donald Trump. And it's not because they're in love, and it's not because of some amazing attraction they have, and it's not because Donald Trump is some amazing father. Melania Trump is waiting for her time. It is a financial agreement, and eventually, yes, eventually, there will be a divorce. They have some sort of mutual financial agreement. She just, from what I heard in reports, just did the prenup and readjusted some things there. Do I believe she's a good mom and she takes care of her son? Sure, I'd like to believe that. I have no reason to believe she's not a good mom. But with that being said, the front of Vogue, for what? The hell have you done? What the hell did you do in the White House besides spend taxpayer dollars and be known for building tennis courts in the White House? I know you're very proud of that. And then refusing to go into the White House until they replaced the toilet because you couldn't sit on the same toilet that Michelle Obama sat on. What a joke. What a joke. That's who Melania Trump is. If that toilet isn't good enough for me to sit on, I want my own toilet. That's the real Melania Trump. That's who she is. So no, I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to defend Melania Trump for not being on the front of Vogue. To the phone lines. Hello, JD.
Hello, Brian. Are you familiar with the town of Bridgeport, Connecticut? Yes.
I'm familiar with a town called Bridgeport.
A Connecticut judge has set January 23 as the date for the new Democratic primary election.
And I'm very familiar with what you're talking about. And how many people voted
the mayor's
in that election?
race?
How many people voted, JD?
The mayor's race you're familiar with?
Very familiar. How many people voted, JD? Now, I know. I just want to know if you know.
It doesn't say in the article.
Okay,
I haven't.
The reason why it's important, JD, and you're unaware of that, because it was around 800 people. And I know what you're going to try to do, but I'll let you explain anyway. But there were about 800 people.
Okay, and the judge threw it out because they were stuffing the ballot boxes.
The judge threw it out because there were about 800 people who voted in that election, not the hundreds of millions of people that voted in the U.S. election. And when you have 800 people that vote, and there's evidence that a few votes might have changed the outcome of an election, you revote. And it has absolutely no analogy or comparison to the 2020 presidential election. I know what you're trying to say.
All the only analogy would be, as it had happened in Philadelphia a couple of years ago, it's a primary election between two Democrats and they're cheating each other.
And I will say, if there's any evidence that there's any wrongdoing that could have changed the outcome of an election, I have absolutely no problem with a do-over. But that did not happen in 2020, and you know that, and there's a...
No, I'm not talking about that, Brian.
Okay.
Did you say... Were you talking about Michelle earlier being a Harvard trained lawyer?
Well, she's a Harvard graduate, yeah. She's a Harvard graduate.
Princeton.
She also went to Harvard and got her law degree there.
But her main first 4 years were in Princeton.
Who do you think is more of an accomplished person, Michelle Obama or Melania Trump?
I'm not in the judging class of
you're not in the judging class.
Who's more this or who's more that.
You're not in the judging class.
Melania was known for trying to help children and helping military families.
And how did she do that?
That was her main thrust.
How did she do that? What did she do? How did she do that? What were her
initiatives? Behind the scenes. It wasn't really publicized that much.
Didn't ask you if she was behind the scenes. If you're making the claim that she helped those people, then I'm telling you, what did she do? What initiatives did she pass? Because if you want to talk about... Go ahead.
She can't pass any initiative. What she tried to do was help young children stabilize their whole lives and have a better upbringing, and then help military people that were distressed with housing and food.
What did she do? How did she do it? Behind the scenes isn't really...
She advocated for it. I don't know how she did it. You don't know how she did it? You don't know how she did it?
No, because she didn't. I don't know how she did it because she didn't do it. I can give you a number of things that Michelle Obama actually did to help people.
You make print statements about her that you have no proof of anything that you say.
Actually, I do. Actually, I do. She helped launch the Let's Move campaign. Actually, I do. That's a fact. She also addressed childhood obesity and passed initiatives in the school systems in many parts of this country to help serve healthier food to students. And my explanation isn't like yours, where I would say, well, she just did stuff behind the scenes. No, I actually have facts to back up my opinions. She also joined forces with service members to the Reach Higher initiative, which clearly you are ignorant to as well. And she volunteered at soup kitchens and homeless shelters, and she didn't do it behind the scenes like your Melania Trump. She did it in the public so everybody could see it, JD.
Well, that's, I guess, the photo op, right?
No, it's not a photo op, but that's something that you would say. And then when Donald Trump holds a Bible upside down, you'll never call into a radio show and call that a photo op. But then when I give you a bunch of facts on the things she did, you say photo op, and then when you defend Melania Trump, you couldn't name anything she did, and your only answer is, oh, well, she did it behind the scenes, because you're biased, JD. You're biased.
And Brian, you're middle of the road, correct? You're not biased against anybody.
I'm biased against idiots that call into this radio show that don't know what they're talking about. Don't defend something when you don't know what you're talking about. I just gave you a list of things that Michelle Obama did. If you don't like her, that's fine.
So you think.
No, not so. No, I'm not just saying it. Look it up, moron. Look it up. If you don't believe me, look it up. Do you even know what the let's?
You have a penchant for calling people names. I don't know why.
Don't you tell me about how you don't like calling people names when you defended the orange turd and voted for him twice, you hypocrite. Look up the Let's Move campaign. I'm not making that up. Go ahead and look it up. Look up what she did in the homeless shelters and the soup kitchens. When I look up Melania Trump, you know what I look up? And you know what I see? She bought some new rugs on taxpayer dollars. That's what she did. She had some new tennis courts in the White House. I know what I'm talking about, and you don't because you're a biased MAGA. And don't give me this nonsense about, oh my God, Brian called me a name. Snowflake, Brian called me a name. You defended the insulter in chief, and you would still vote for him today over Joe Biden because you're a right-wing hypocrite, JD. You're a right-wing hypocrite. That's what you are.
Everything, but you're out there throwing firebombs at everybody that disagrees.
What firebomb?
Can't you have a civil conversation?
I've tried to have a civil conversation with you, and you bring up stuff about Melania Trump, and then when I ask you for facts, you say, oh, she did it behind the scenes. And then when I actually bring up facts about Michelle Obama and her initiatives and what she actually did, oh, well, that's your opinion. That's your opinion. No, it's not. It's a fact. You can look it up. You don't come at me with
Don't have a heart attack, man. Calm down.
No, I'm not going to calm down. I'm passionate. I call out idiots like you. You're an idiot.
And you're.
Thank you. Have a nice day, MAGA. Have a nice day, MAGA. I destroy you once again with facts. You buffoon, you right-wing buffoon, JD. That's a typical MAGA Republican.